starting. So we'll take the fifth topic today, that is sixth topic. The fifth we are done, multiple catch blocks. Let's try to explore that. So in the same exception handling package, we can do the code, and not necessary to create a new package. Okay, so let's try to make a new class, and let's give it as multiple catch block demo. Okay, so if a scanner, if I ask the user to enter age, okay, I ask the user to enter age. So what type of data am I expecting the user to enter? Integer. So I'm expecting him to enter 16. What if he is a bit advanced and he enters like this? Now can, because the variable I've taken to store this is an integer age. So now can 16, the string 16, be stored into the integer age variable? Possible? Yes, no, maybe. It will throw what? Input mismatch exception. It will throw input mismatch exception, right? Okay. So let's try to do the same program which we did to divide two numbers. So I take a scanner, I sys out, enter numerator. Someone's mic is on, looks like. Integer numerator sc dot next int, and I will also take the denominator also. Enter denominator, and I'll take in the variable denominator. And how will you do the division? Okay, integer result equals to numerator divided by denominator, and we will sys out the result. Now this code is prone to throwing which exception, which code, which line of code is suspicious over here, which line of code is suspicious, and line number 15, right? So I put it in the try block. If that exception occurs, which will, which exception will catch it? Arithmetic exception E1. And what will I say? Please enter valid number, valid denominator. Denominator cannot be 0. What will we say? Denominator cannot be 0. Okay, we can give our own message. Yes, yes, yes. We can give our own message, I said, or you can use the message which is already there in this class. Okay, so when the exception is thrown, have you seen it? It writes over there divide by 0 on the console. So this is the error message. So every, you can give your own customized error message. So I'll just show you what I'm trying to say. So let's go step by step rather instead of jumping to the conclusion. So now when I save this and I run this code, you will see that if I try to enter a denominator which is a zero, this program will throw an exception, and as I've handled the exception over here, it will go in the catch block and it will show my programmer's message over here. Okay, so if I do not know the spelling of denominator, so if I write over the denomi me, this is my own customized message, right? So let me run this code and check. So every programmer can give his or her own error messages. Okay, the build is taking place over here. I guess there are lots of applications over here. The build is taking place. So until this progress bar completes, we'll have to wait for the console to reflect the output. Once the build completes, you'll get the output over there. So enter numerator, so I enter 10. Denominator, I enter 2. 10 divided by 2, what is the result? Any exception thrown in this? So it will display me 5, and will it go in the catch block? No. We'll just display 5 and it out of the application, right? Let's run again. If I enter 10 and 0, now will there be any exception? At which line? 6, 16. Which exception it is going to throw? It is going to throw new arithmetic exception, correct? So which is there any catch block which catches new arithmetic exception? Is there any reference which can catch arithmetic exception? This one. So it will go with that catch and it will say what? Denominator cannot be 0. Yeah. So you can now this is a user defined message. So the actual way of displaying this message is what we do is we make a class which has all the constants over there. Okay. So we can say whatever constants we can say string constants or whatever constants you can say, and you mention your it's a final static string and whatever message you want to give, like if you want to show divide by 0. Okay, so yeah, this is a final, we'll always give in capital, and if it has multiple words we'll separate it by underscore. So what error message you want to show when it is divided by 0? So if in the application you have error messages, if you have error messages, you store them at a separate file. As it is a static variable, directly I can use this over here and say dot which variable divide by 0. So all your error messages will be listed at one particular place. So this file, as your application will swell, okay. So even if you want to display something and add, you want to separate that with, okay. So if you are, let's say, making a database table and you want to make a table by the name employee details. So you want to give employee underscore details or employee hyphen details. Okay. So what is the separator you are using? So that also we put over here. So we do not hard code anything. We make variables for that. So we make a separator and we can give there table name underscore separator. And if you're using underscore, you have to give over your underscore. So when you will create your table, you will say like this. sys out employee, then you will not say underscore. You will say concat with what? Concat with what? String constants dot table name separator. And then you will give over there what? Details. So what will this display? The table name as 10 and 5 employee underscore details. Getting it? Now later on the management decides that they want to put a hyphen instead of underscore. So what will you do? Because this has been used across hundreds of places, right? Employee underscore details, X underscore, because we are using to separate two words in a table underscore. Now the management decide that this is causing a problem in the new database. Let's say they switch from MySQL to Oracle, and in Oracle underscore is causing a problem. So we need to separate it by hyphen. So will you go and change all that 100 places? You just have to go and change over. Just go and change over here. That going forward, table separator is what? Hyphen. Now do a Control S and you run the code. So never hard code any error message. Now making sense? So never hard code any error message. Keep it like this. Okay. Going forward, I will also teach you all enum. Okay. You all can park this. So enums also can be used by in displaying your error messages. Okay, this is also a very interesting topic. ENUM, based on which I had kept my company's name Enum Tech. So enums in Java. Okay. So if you right click in a package, what all can we create? We can create a class, we can create an interface, we can create packages, we can also create a enum. Yeah, so that also we can use. So you can park it. If you all feel that we missed out on this topic, you all can remind me. So when we were doing that displaying error messages, you had told that we can use enums also. So are we mature enough to understand enums? If yes, you can please teach us. So if I feel that you all are okay, the right time that we're gonna grasp enum, all the prerequisites are met, I'll take that topic. Okay. So here you are giving your own message, correct? Yes or no? But Java also has a predefined message. And how do you give your own message? I showed you, right? Instead of hard coding that, store it into a file and take it from there. Even if you want to cite login successful, even if you want to show a success message or login failed, so you can make over here your static final strings. Okay. So if you want to, if you are making a login application, so if you want to show that I want to show a login success message, okay, so you can make a variable over here and then whatever you want you can display over here. So like if the client changes this message, you have to just go and change over here. Correct? You have been logged in successfully. Okay, and if there is a login failure, then you can put that message also over here and take okay, error in login, error in login. So this will separate your coding style from academic to professional. Academic guys will not ever bother to write this. They will directly go and display this message over here. Correct? We have been doing all this while from first semester onwards. But the professionals will always maintain a separate constant file and fetch it from there. Okay. Then Java also gives you the luxury in some exceptions that they have a predefined message. So the even reference which we have of this, you can say even dot get message. You see this? So it will give you the predefined error message which Java developers have given for this exception. So if I write over here 10 and 2, see, okay, there was no exception, right? Sorry, 10 and 0. So see, they are given an exception string. What is that? Divided by 0. But this is not there for all the exceptions. All the exceptions do not have a message. Okay, so this is varies varies from exception to exception. Is it understood, guys, so far? So if you feel that that exception has a get message, you can use that. If no, then you can print your own message. Okay. If you want to print the reason why that exception occurred and how it occurred, so you can print the stack trace also. Okay. This itself is a message method, so no need to call it in println. Okay. So this will print you the entire cause of the exception. Okay. This is printing the cause of the exception. Divide by 0. Okay. And the program is continuing execution. But it has terminated because it was not handled properly. So it is displaying you the cause of the exception, which exception is occurring and what is the message. Okay. And then at what line and all that stuff. So let's come back. Okay. So now whichever style suits you all better, you all can do that. So let's say I will go with my style string constants dot divide by 0. Okay. Okay. Now, is this the only problem? No. If I come here and I say enter numerator and he enters apple, now what? We are expecting apple to be an integer, but what is he entered? String. Now this apple cannot be stored in this int numerator, so this will throw input mismatch exception. What will this throw? Now, is this exception handled? Is there any catch catching that? No. First of all, it is not even being monitored. Catch will only catch those exceptions which are monitored, right? Which are in the try block. Outside the try block, this code is not monitored. So as the exception occurs, it will go to the Java's natural reaction, which will do what? Create an object of which class and throw the object. And there is no way of catching it. This object will spill and the program will crash. Will it ask me to enter denominator? Will it go ahead? Because the tendency is program will terminate at the very line in which the exception occurs. Correct? So right click, run as Java application, enter emitter. And now if I enter over here Apple, see what happens. Program will crash land. Which exception? Now is it handled? Okay, if I write the handling, will that work? If I write the handling part, okay, let's add one more catch and say input mismatch. Will this be okay? That please enter valid. Okay, so I can directly write over here. Please enter valid number. Or you can put this into a string constant and use that over here. Now is it fine? Or this is still will cause problems? Yes, guys. Or this should solve the problem. Will solve the problem or the problem will still persist? Yes, no, no, it will not solve because catch will only catch those exceptions which occur in the try block. Where is your try block starting from? It is not being monitored, right? So let's try to check and let's try to check and run. Okay, let's cover all the permutations. So if I enter over here Apple, it's crashing, still crashing. So now what to do? Now take this try and begin it from here. Now this try block is now prone to throwing multiple exceptions, correct? It might also throw new arithmetic and it might also throw new input mismatch. Make sense? So like this, I can have multiple catch to catch these exceptions. I click on it, right click, run as Java application. Now if you enter the Apple, it go now will it throw an exception? Which one? Input mismatch. Is there any catch to catch it? We'll go over here and we'll say what? Okay, and program is not crash landing. So whatever you write after this will still be executed. Okay, so this code will continue executing. It will not crash land. Apple. So it says thank you. Making sense? Okay, and then at the okay, then there is one more exception which I write over here. Integer arr. This is an array, correct? What is the size of this array? 2. So if I say integer arr of 2 equals to not integer arr, only arr of 2 equals to 99. Is this syntactically valid? Syntactically it is valid, logically it is not valid. If it was not syntactically valid, it would draw a red dot over here. So if I would use this array, if I would use this bracket for the array, now this is syntactically incorrect. It is showing a red dot. Yes or no? So is this code syntactically correct? But is it logically correct? So this will throw which exception? So the object will be thrown off new array index out of bounds. So is there any catch catching that exception? So at the end, I will give a this is a switch case, right? This is working like a switch case. So it will first check over here case one, case two, and this is the default. What is this? If no if no exception is no catch block catches the exception, then the default will always go right in a switch case. So if it doesn't go into any of the cases, it will 100% go in the default case. So here it will go in the exception, and so we'll say what? Okay. So here at this line, new arithmetic, I try over here, new in array index. I try over here, is it being caught? No. I try over here, is it being caught? No. Then here it will be caught and will say what? Some error occurred. Correct? Got it? Yes, no, maybe. Okay. What is the default value of a local variable? What is the default integer value? What is the default what is the default value for yes? Yes. Look, huh? Local variable has package level. Hmm. What is this? Is this an instance variable? It is inside a function. Local. So what is the default value of an integer in local variable? Default integer is 0, default double is 0.0, default string is null, and default boolean is false, right? So this a, if I print this a straight away, it will give me 0, correct? Guys, what will it give me then? It will not give me anything because you have to initialize a. See, it is showing an error over here, compile time error, that you have to initialize a local variable for using it. Have I initialized it? Okay, so local variable has to be initialized. Okay, if I would have done this over here, now, so I've got instance variable, should have become a instance variable. Now why is it showing a issue? Okay, but I'm using a static block, no? Yeah, now it has to be a static variable. Now it's all good. Now the value will be zero. Zero. Okay. Okay. Now if I take a static string name, what is the default value of this name? Tell me. Null. So if I do a name dot length, if I do a name dot length, so is does the null have any length? So if you invoke any method with the value null, it will give null pointer exception. It will give what? Null point. This will throw what? So null pointer exception. Is there any catching null pointer exception? Arithmetic? Yes, no, maybe. Input mismatch exception. This will catch it. So what will come over here? See now this is fine. So will it throw arithmetic array index out of bound exception? No. If I enter 10 and 2, will it throw input mismatch? And will it throw arithmetic also? But this will still throw an exception, which is that null pointer. And what will be the output of this code? And will it ask me to enter numerator and denominator now? Will it ask me to enter numerator denominator? No. The line at which the exception occurs, directly the remaining part of try is skipped and it started searching for the catch. No. At whichever line, which line is this exception occurring at? So Java will create an object of this exception and will throw the object, no, directly, and directly will go to the sub matching catch block. So at whatever line the exception occurs, the remainder of the try block is skipped. So when the exception is occurring at line number 15, the remainder of try block will not be executed. So what is will be the output of this code? Some error occurred and run Java. Got it? From where did it get zero from? From where did it get zero? Who's printing zero? Okay, this A. No, this A is getting printed, no? Getting it, guys? What is null pointer exception? So if any object is null and with that object you call a method, that is called as null pointer exception. So if I have a class over here, where is the student class? Where did we make the student class? Student class over here. Take it, I'll take it. So if you want to use a class from any other package, you have to import that class. Okay, so this is in which package? Day 14 constructor. Okay, so see now what am I doing? I'm doing student s equals to null. Control Shift O, student from where? Day 14 constructor, right? Now in the student class, I have a method. Let's say I have setter, getter, set, and get. So if I come here and I call s dot set, okay, it will allow me to call. See, syntactically it is okay. Send percentage 78.5. Any problem over here? Okay, now let's say name I am giving as Alice. So what is the length of Alice? 5. So this, but now will there be any exception? Where is s pointing to null? Can I call a method when the reference is pointing to a null? So here what will it throw? And will it display me 5? Why no? Yes, in a try block, if there is an exception at only 9, the remainder of the try block is skipped and directly we will search for the matching catch block. Is there any matching catch block for to catch null pointer exception? No. But there is one default, so it will come over here, right? So apart from these two exceptions, any exception will occur, will directly go to this third catch. Is making sense? So now let me save and let me run, and the output will be the same. Got it? Okay. Now I take this and I put it over here. Now tell me what will be the problem. I take this and I put it over here. Now what will be the workflow? I will enter 10. Okay, will it ask, will it display me 5 now? Is this line causing any problem? Name dot length, name is Alice. No, 5. Is this line causing any problem? No. So no error, this will not be thrown. If I enter 10, is this line causing any problem? No. If I enter 2, any problem? No. But will it display me the result 5? Okay, let's keep it 5. Will it display me the result 2 over here? Will 2 be displayed? Why no? Yes. So it will not display with the result 2, right? It will not display with the result 2. So will it display me result is 2? Will it display this? No. So output will be 5. Enter numerator I will enter 10. Enter denominator I will enter 5. And then it will crash land saying, then it will go in then the exception will occur and it will go over here, right? And program will continue. And thank you, is it again, correct? So now I run this code. Now see the difference, okay? You all should be very well versed with exception handling. See, 5 is there, no problem. Enter numerator, 10 is there, no problem. 5 is there, no problem. But here it says some error record and it goes into that. So the moment exception occurs, it starts looking for the matching catch block. Got it, guys? Yes, no, maybe. So got multiple catch, and this is the default exception handling. Now we have default switch case. So what is this? What is this doing? Default exception handling. Okay, if I put this catch on the top over here as the first catch, will it make sense? I paste over here. Why will it not make sense if I paste that over here? I've cut it from here. I cut it from here and I paste it over there. Yeah, yes. And they will become unreachable code because that code will never be reached only, correct? So if I copy and paste it over here, you will see error over there. You see errors, and if you hover the mouse over there, what is it saying? Unreachable code. Okay, because it will never be reached because now irrespective whatever exception occurs, it will go in this. Okay, so if I save this and run, now the code won't know this is compile time error, right? What is this? I have to resolve this. No, the code will not run. These are errors. What are these? So if you see any red dot over here means the code will not compile only. So you have to be aware that your last this catch block should go at the end. Okay, making sense. So now we can tick two more boxes from here. Multiple catch blocks done. Okay, and default exception handling also done now. Okay, there can be one catch block which can handle multiple exceptions. Okay, so let's say now I don't write this exception, but this some error occurred. So whether it is a array index out of bound or null pointer exception, I want to say what? So these two will come over here, right? Which two? Which two? Array index out of bound exception and give a pipe and give a pipe. Okay, pipe and which one? They will both will come in this block now. So one catch can handle multiple exceptions also. Making sense? So now what do you think will happen? Now what do you think will be the code? Now is this throwing array index out of bounds? No. It'll ask me for the numerator denominator. Is this throwing array index out of? Is this throwing null pointer exception? So we'll come. Okay. So I'll say some other error occurs. So it will come over here. Correct. So now this catch block will handle these two exceptions. Now let's run and check. So if I enter over here 8 and 4, got it. So why has it come in this block? Because here I have got null pointer exception at line number 26. Correct. At what line is the null pointer exception occurring? Line number 25 or 26? Line number 26. 26. When we are using that reference, the null reference. Null, when I'm declaring at null, not a problem because it's a local variable. So I have to initialize it. Else it will not work if I don't initialize it. See, if I do like this, it'll throw an error over here. That local variable has to be initialized, correct? Local variable may have not been initialized. So I have to initialize it. So I give one value null, okay, for initializing it. But with null, you cannot call any function, so it will throw null pointer exception. Okay, now if I say is new student, now let it point to a new student. Now is it null pointer exception? Yes, no, maybe. Now is there any exception occurring over here? This is also fine. Everything is fine. Now let's run time. Let's check everything is fine now. So if I enter over here 25 and I enter over here 5, everything goes smooth. Result is 5. Thank you, Delegation. Correct? Okay, now if I put over here A as 2, now what happens? It'll search and it is, it, yeah, over here. Yeah, so what will happen if I run this code? Run time, the issue will occur. No, no. Compile time, everything is good. The exception occurs at run time, correct? So run time, this will create complications. And what will be the output of this code? Okay. Yes. 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 Okay. So see directly it is saying it is displaying me 5 y over length of Alice and then directly some other error occurred because now both these are being caught by one single catch block. Making sense? Like this, you can add pipe and add as many exceptions you want to add. So is this also covered? Tomorrow we'll do nested try. Anybody has any concerns, questions?